All right, it's time to unbox the Honor Magic V5. I'm gonna pop this little puppy open. Always a nice presentation from Honor. Got a little smush though. That's disappointing. All right, now I got the black and gold colorway, which I'm really excited to see. See if we can slide this out of here without. Yeah, well, there goes the paper. I didn't want to rip the paper, but too bad. Now it's ripped. Oh, baby. So this is a review unit. They always put these not for sale stickers on here. A final unit will not have these on here, obviously, because they don't care what you do with it after you buy it. So there we go. That is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This is the black and gold colorway again. It has this really nice, like, brushed metal back. You can see the texture. Texture is super, super nice. And the camera hump is really interesting because the camera hump is actually the camera hump is pretty darn honking big. Look at the size of this thing. At least though, it's centered. Yeah, I'm actually really disappointed in the amount of wobble on that considering how centered that is. I wonder if I open it like this. It does still wobble a fair amount too. Oh well, not so much for that. We'll put that down and we'll check out what else is in the box. All right, enough on that. We're gonna check in here. Let's find out. Oh yeah, okay. So they do include a case just like the last time. Of course, I forgot you got your, little SIM tray ejector tool. Inside of this box, you've got a USB-C to C cable. Nothing fancy, but the case that's included is definitely what I would call fancy. So that's a nice vegan leather texture on that. And it does cover the hinge, which is awesome. And then of course, Honor's cases are really cool because these pieces come out. So this is a kickstand. So we pop this on the phone. That is looking quite snazzy. That is just like a really, really super elegant looking piece of electronic. That nice trim around this ring. And of course, like I said before, this doubles as a kickstand. So if you unfold it, you got your little kickstand. You can set it down like this, and boom. Now you can watch something on a plane or, wherever you feel like. And that is just built in like that. It just sits right there. It is a super cool design. And it doesn't really add any bulk to the case because it's already protecting that ring. It is a little bit slippery. Like this feels a little more like plastic vegan leather than maybe OnePlus's fabric-like vegan leather. This is the V3's case. This is the one from last year. And it's the same kind of design. It's got the ring. It's got the hinge cover. It's made of vegan leather. They look pretty darn similar. There's not a whole lot of difference here. I do like the texture of the green one though. It's more grippy, whereas again, this feels a little more plasticky to me, which I'm not the biggest fan of. If you're comparing them side by side in the case, again, not a huge difference here. I do like that the top lip on the V5's case doesn't protrude as much. Again, this is the V5 on the left. It looks better. And same thing on the bottom. That little piece does not protrude as much. So I would be a lot more inclined to use this case versus I always felt like this case felt kind of goofy. It added like too much lip on the outside. And I don't know, I didn't really care to use this case on the V3 versus, yeah, I don't know, that it feels pretty good on the V5. It feels like it would work a lot better. So, unfortunately, that's it for the box and the V5. It's a little disappointing, honestly, considering there was at least a charging brick in the V3's box. You're going to get a cable and a case and a phone and the SIM eject tray tool. This is the V3's box from last year. It has the brick and the cable separately. And in the box with the case, it also had this little lip to protect the front of the phone, as you can tell. I never used it because I hate these little lips, but at least this would cover the edges of the front of the screen. So, maybe if you dropped it, it would help a little bit with drop protection. But the V5 doesn't have that in the box. And it's not like there's a lip or something on the screen that would help keep it protected in case you dropped it. So, I don't know. That's a peculiar one. Yeah, so the inside of the case has this, it's like a nice soft texture. It's going to keep the phone from getting scratched, which is great because, this is an expensive phone and you don't want it to be scratched up from, the case that's included in the box. Let's go ahead and compare the hardware of the Magic V3 with the Magic V5. They look pretty darn similar, honestly. The camera island's basically the same shape. It's got that nice octagonal shape. The camera island on the V5 is thicker for sure. You can tell the difference. V5 on the left, V3 on the right. I'll hold them this way so that you get a similar view. And you can see there is a definite thickness difference there. Now, as far as the phones themselves, the V3 was already stupid thin. Like, if you look at the USB port for both phones, it's pretty darn hard to tell the difference. And of course, my V3 is black, not gold, so it's harder to pick up the difference on camera. But I wouldn't say there's like a super noticeable difference between these two. If I hold them side by side, the V3 is maybe like a teeny bit thicker, but at this point we're splitting hairs, probably quite literally, because I'm sure the difference here is probably not much thicker than the width of a hair. In any case, opening it up, we'll look at both of them here opened up. All right, same deal here. I mean, the V5 is technically thinner than the V3, I guess, but again, we're really splitting hairs here with the thinness. These things are like super mega thin already. They look great. I don't see a point in trying to say one is considerably thinner than another. They both feel like an ideal size. If you're folding this thing up and you're putting it in your pocket, it just feels like a normal phone. There's really not much else to say about it. Now, boy, look at the hinge on the V5. Dang, that is a sweet hinge. The V3, at least this model, is just shiny. It's nice looking. Of course, I have a dent here where it slipped out of my pocket in the car and it landed on the metal frame of the seat and dented this, which I was pretty mad about at the time. So it'll be interesting to see if this is any more durable than that. I wouldn't say the V3 was not durable, but any little improvement for things like that is helpful. The telephoto camera is definitely larger than the one on the V3. You can see there's some additional hardware in there. The other two sensors have also been upgraded. It is flatter on the edges than the V3. So if you compare the V3 right here with the V5 here, you can see that the V5's edges are a little bit flatter. Typically, I like phones that have more of a rounded edge here around this lip because I feel like it makes it easier to stick your fingernail in there and open it. So far, the way they did this lip, this feels better to me to open. So despite the fact that this is a flatter edge, the way they did the lip in there feels like a better design overall. I don't notice any obvious differences in the bezel sizes on the inner display. Even the little bevel around the power button area, this little design here is the same in both phones. So they are pretty darn similar. I think that I would say that the V5 is more of a tweak in the design versus some kind of revolutionary new design. I am very excited about these camera sensors though, because this size difference and the fact that the sensors are different is really exciting to me. Honor's cameras have been excellent, especially in the last 2 years, and I think this is going to help make this foldable an excellent daily driver. Thanks for watching that Honor Magic V5 unboxing. Stay tuned for the full review, the display review, and some kind of camera comparisons. See you in the next one.